Welcome to Mechanical Mondays. You are in the shop. I am Ladybug Jenkins, your mindset mechanic, reminding you that it is never too late to find, face, and fix what is stalling you. And when you do that, you can accelerate into the life of your dreams. And in today's episode titled Dead End, we are going to discuss the topic of letting go and how it can affect our progress. So, if you are a driver, you absolutely understand what a dead end is. But since we like to be clear with our definitions, a dead end is defined as the end of a road or passage from which exit or escape is not possible. So, let us talk a little bit about what that looks like in real life. Now, when you are driving, you see that dead end, you turn down a road, you think you're going in the right direction, and you see that dead end. Now, I will confess to being guilty of this. And what we do sometimes, we think to ourselves, I think there's a way out. I think if I make a couple more turns, I can get through that. And we keep going and we keep going until we hit the very end, which is either woods in Florida. A lot of times I'll see woods, I'll see a guardrail and some woods. And obviously, I can't go any further than that. Sometimes you will end up in a cul-de-sac where there's just homes and homes and homes. And the only thing you can do is turn around. Sometimes you will end up alongside a building and you cannot get through, but you will get to that dead end. Now, what does that look like in real life? Oftentimes, it's relationships. We are in romantic relationships. We are in friendships. And we know with every fiber of our being that that thing has come to a dead end. We know we have gone as far as we can go on that job. We have tolerated sometimes as much as we can in a relationship, but something in us will not allow us to let go. And oftentimes it is rooted in pride. You can even see this in ministry for those of us who belong to churches. Sometimes you've grown as much as you can in that place, and there's nothing wrong with the place. Sometimes there's nothing wrong with the person. You have just gone as far as you can go, and you are at a dead end. But because of pride, which manifests in different ways, I'll talk about that in a second. Because of pride, we will not let go, just like because of pride, we will not turn around because we tell ourselves, I think I can find a way out. Perhaps we've invested so many years in a friendship or a romantic relationship that we don't want to feel like we've given up by coming out of the relationship. We don't want to let go of all of the vacations and birthdays and best friend things. This might be someone you went to high school with. You were at your prom with them. You all graduated together. Maybe you even went to the same college or you met them in college. You pursued the same degree. You might be in the same field. You've been married to this person for years. You have children with them. There are all of these ties. And the longer you've been in relationship with that person, the more ties you have, the more memories you have. And for some people, it can be 10, 15, 20, 30 years. And depending on your age, that is half your life, over half your life. You've known them longer than you haven't. They've been at more of your birthdays than they haven't been. I know it's math, so I may have explained it wrong. So if you're 30 years old and you've known that person since you were 10, for 20 years, they've been at every birthday. You graduated together, all of these things. So for more than half your life. So you've known them for more years than you haven't. That means more of your memories include them that don't. Pictures. Every time you think about a destination that you went to. All of these things. Perhaps the death of a parent or a grandparent, they were there holding your hand. And now you've come to a point where you have to say, this relationship is at its end. I have to turn around And so it's like a death, and you feel like you have to let go of all the memories, all of the accomplishments, all of the things they were there for. And then there's also a fear that the next time you go through something, the next time you suffer a loss, or the next time you have good news, you are not going to be able to pick up the phone and share with that person. And it's often obvious that that thing is at a dead end, but we don't want to let it go. We also don't want to hear, I told you so. If we have people in our lives that love us, wise counsel, and they've told us, I don't like who you are when you're with that person, or when you're on that job, it's making you really miserable and you're taking it out on the people around you. That ministry is burning you out. Your husband or your wife is a ministry widow, a ministry widower. You need to let go. And God is confirming that. But you don't want to hear that I told you so, or you don't want to feel that I told you so from the people around you. But it's time to let go. Sometimes we can even pursue things professionally. We can be in certification programs, degree programs. We can be on pathways. Maybe we accepted extra responsibility at work and it is draining us. It's miserable. It's not what we thought it would be. But we don't want to look unprofessional. We don't want to look like we're giving up. And we don't want to feel like we're at a loss if we were trying to reach a goal and we have to stop before we get there. So if you think about when you turn around on a road, you have to drive back all of that distance that you've traveled. And it can feel like that in your mind. You have to let go of all the progress, all the memories, if it's a relationship, all of the accomplishments on a job, any awards. It might be financial bonuses. Perhaps you're at the top of the pay scale. I left nursing after 30 years. I am at the top of every pay scale that exists. I don't care if it's civilian. I worked at military hospital, like at the top of the pay scale. And that is a lot to let go of when you're talking about 3 decades of my life. And again, I've been a nurse longer than I've not been one. And having to let all of that go and feeling like all of that progress is lost. But no matter how long you drive on a dead end, even if you drive before you get to that cul-de-sac, before you get to those forests, as long as you drive, that is more time and energy that is wasted. Think about being in a vehicle. That is gas that you're wasting. That is wear and tear that you're wasting. And the longer you insist on driving, even though you see those signs, they'll say no outlet, no exit, dead end. You will keep driving because you think you're somehow going to be special. You're going to be better than all of the other people that have come to a dead end and have had to accept that they can't get out, that they're going to have to turn around. And so that is what I have in my rear view. The more time and energy you spend going in the wrong direction just means you're going to double that, because you're still going to have to at some point turn around and drive back the way you came. You're going to have to come up out of that situation that you were in. It's going to take that much longer to get over the heartbreak of the relationship. It's going to take that much longer to find a new career path. It's going to take that much longer to get over whatever you went through in the ministry that you might have been in, like digging yourself out of a hole. So the further down you dig, the longer you're going to have to climb to get back out. And no, it's not easy, but it is necessary. And sometimes you just have to accept that you are at a dead end. And that is what is in my rear view. That is what I wanted to share with my love bugs this week. For those of you who pray, keep praying for Juan. He is handling family business. He would love to be here with you, but we are family first at Mindset Mechanics. Yes. So in Ecclesiastes 3, and I am going to read this, and I want you to just listen to the words and be mindful that this is from the mouth of God. Okay. So in Ecclesiastes 3, it says, for everything there is a season and a time for every matter under the sun, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up what was planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to seek and a time to loose, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. And that lets us know that there is a time for everything. And sometimes things have to die, be torn apart, abandoned. And sometimes you have to go to war. And that is not always a bad thing. It is just time, love bugs. It's time. It is time to let go. It is time to stop embracing. It's time to go to war. And that is not the same as quitting. That's not the same as giving up. And we know the difference. The Lord will speak to us, but we know if we have a tendency to start things and stop them, to not be consistent, not have discipline. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that thing being dead and you refusing to let go. Imagine you have a friend and that friend passes away. And instead of letting go, you pick them up and you start to carry them around with you. First of all, they're going to be heavy. It's going to impede your progress. It's going to impede your ability to move. If you have to carry them everywhere, imagine you have them in a strong embrace. What is your daily life going to be like? Trying to function, trying to drive, sleep, use the bathroom, go to bed. And you're holding them in an embrace. And very quickly, there will become a stench that is going to poison you. It's going to poison everything around you. It's going to poison your ability to enter into the right relationships that you're supposed to be in. So sometimes things have to die. They have to go. They have to be abandoned. And sometimes you have to go to war because that is what it's going to take to get out of the dead end that you are in. And that's what I wanted to share this week here in the shop. Mindset Mechanics. So I trust that you allow this episode to help. And I am Ladybug Jenkins, your mindset mechanic, reminding you that it is never too late to find, face, and fix what is stalling you so that you can accelerate into the life of your dreams. Amen.